Well, hey, you're here! You've made it! Hoorah! And where is here, you may ask? This is, of course, the MindGriller Server. And I'm Gravity, and, well, down there is Cow. And where are we on said MindGriller Server, you may ask? Good question. As the most frequent viewers of the channel will know, and that means both of you, here on the MindGriller Server, the FB keybind has been disabled. So, as to precisely where we are, who's to say? Oh, and perhaps you're leaning towards a third question, which I will herein stymie, obviate, preclude, nip in the bud, by noting that this is in fact the 50th episode published to YouTube from here, the MindGriller Server. That's quite exciting. And in so noting, and since I am me, I thought let we, and by that I mean us, see how this metaphorically stacks up. Did my voice just crack? The wonders of puberty. Now. Let us begin by choosing a hermit at a random. I choose Tango Tech. We, and by that I mean Cow and I, have seen his videos, and I do mean all of them, mind you. I will have it said by someone other than Cow that I am, if anything, in fact, a loyalist and a completist. And Cow reminded me just this morning that we did see a stream wherein he and Gemini Tay were blahing about something or other, and Cow was beginning to look like he needed a walk when he, of the Tango Tech monitor, said something along the lines of, well, I have things to do. I haven't put out a Hermitcrat episode in, let me look, 126 days. Ha 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 ha. And then he and Gem laughed, and then they inexplicably commiserated and well, carried on with their respective episodes. Now, is this true, you may ask? Denying facts seems to be a convenient hobby these days. Just saying. Luckily, we know someone smart we can ask. What is the longest pause in between Tango Tech Season 10 episodes? /AIGF.
The gap between episode 27 published December 29, 2024 and episode 37 published May 4, 2025 is 126 days.
Well, no, as Cow tends to repeat when making one of his bovine stinky messes, quantity is not quality, to which I tend to agree. No. What if Tango is watching this very episode? Do you think he's already screaming? Is his head in his hands? Is he grumbling? Now that would be something. What if one of the two loyalist viewers of this channel was himself a famously shouty, sarcastic, and borderline pessimistic YouTuber? I will proffer here that despite controversies, like the time on a live stream when Tango accidentally hit the keybind which sent him into creative mode, on a vanilla server, mind you, or the time said Hermit and Impulse, yeah, that guy, built a Halloween house, the design of which originated on the channel of an uncredited creator, notwithstanding. May I make a message to you on this auspicious occasion? Make more Hermitcraft videos. Just a thought. Now, speaking of hermits and crafting, I will speak now since we are blasting from the pasting, chewing the fat while spinning yarns, and reminiscing and giggling through random chinwags involving non-consensual viewings of sticky photo albums. In such a matter, if we may, Cow and I will reveal now to you a secret. Are you excited? I'm excited. Cow's favorite moment contained within any of all Hermitcraft episodes was the episode wherein Cubfan built a sort of trench. And this trench was filled every here and there with dripstone spikes. And in one memorable episode, he and Zombie Cleo sat on a hillside overlooking the spikes during an immaculate sunset, if sunsets can be so termed, whilst she, of the zombie form, read poems written by Joe Hills. Now, I know that Joe can be easily cast off as a lunatic. He of gross inflated faces floating over live streams fame. But I will say, between Cleo's voice of a goddess and Joe's these words don't belong next to each other poetic blather, babble, and prattle, a moment for the ages was kindly passed on to we, the loyalist and duly rewarded viewers. Now, good times. Now, that was not in reference to the 70s Norman Lear sitcom of the same name, namely Good Times. No, and nay. Nor was it a blithe wink, nudge, nudge to the Monkees' 12th studio album. The title track, also entitled Good Times, which I also postulated no attempt to make mention of, and which was written by Nilsson, and which features a posthumous duet with Mickey Dolenz, which is from said album of the same name, and which, may I mention the album, not the song, unbelievably reached number 14 on the Billboard 200 in the year of our Lord 2016. Ask your grandpappy. grandpappy. Now he, Mickey Dolenz, not your grandpappy, is notable for many achievements, distinctions, contributions, Laurel Canyon lifestyle choices, one of which may not be widely known to you, the most retentive viewers of this channel, and by that I mean both of you. Drummer and vocalist Mickey Dolenz, he of whom we have been speaking, played the Moog synthesizer notably on the track Daily Nightly, which is considered one of the first pop recordings to use the Moog. He famously of the group of primates with a spelling impairment or sticky keyboard threw a party for one John Lennon, who spent hours experimenting with the Moog, making what were described as flying saucer sounds. Now, a few years later, in the year of our Lord and many other things we will not dare to mention on this channel, 1969, the Beatles incorporated the Moog on their Abbey Road album. And Dolenz, of whom we still speak, eventually sold his Moog to Bobby Sherman, who you may recognize from his guest appearance on The Brady Bunch, where he daringly but not convincingly portended, couch sat as well himself. Now, celebrities of the distant past notwithstanding, the most observant viewers among you will have observed some things that have not been seen before. These things, namely entities which we have not seen, and structures we have not come across. Now, it's a new Minecraft world and we're just living in it. Or not, who's to say? Now, so far, Cow and I have spotted a red fox, not the comedian, ask your grandpappy, and a purported juvenile porcine entity which looks a lot like a Vlaamse koehond, a Bouvier de Flandre, een Valbaard. Now, this reskinning of entities and purporting them to be brand new feels a lot like the current trend at the House of the Mouse. Now, it's best to sneak up upon them so you don't scare them away. And by them, I do not mean they who self-identify as Disney adults. It gets me every time because they tend to exude a form of self-confidence and self-unawareness, not delusion, which rivals a whole steaming vat of Axe body spray soaked maniacs running amok in a haze of childhood waste regurgitated upon self-important asocial park goers. Nay, I speak here of the ratty mouse in suspiciously tight red go-go shorts with whom they are renovating and rebranding existing attractions and claiming them as wholly new creations, of which I will say they are not, and if I may say here, Cal and I are not Disney adults. Because we do not act in ways that can be considered inappropriate for our age. Such as dressing up like characters, which is called, and here I kid you not, Disney bounding. Now, inasmuch as we do not frequently visit Disney parks, nor do we display an unhealthy fixation on Disney culture. Now, do you see a scar? Neither do I. By the by, and apropos of absolutely nothing, Just Shoot Me! Exclamation point is currently available to stream on Disney Plus in some regions. Hashtag not sponsored. Now, speaking of soft white underbellies parading around in mouse ears, today's episode is brought to you by the kind people at Reeve's Cookie Cutter Clumps. Reeve's Cookie Cutter Clumps, they taste like an hour-and-a-half wait for the Matterhorn feels. Now, as fun as rummaging through a random chest is, let us move onwards to see what we shall see. To tickle what we shall tickle, and to cough up what we shall cough up. Hey now, look here, a polar bear. Now they're a bit useless in Minecraft, but Cow and I do find them a bit beefy, no offense, and majestic. Hey now, I do love a selfie with Cow and polar bears. Hey now, was that something I said? Now everyone seems to be in their feelings nowadays. Did you, plural, the most retentive viewers of this channel, know that once upon a time, Minecraft version 0.15.9 in the year of our Lord 2016, Pocket Edition, mind you, what I meant to say was in fact the last build in which players were able to use a camera in Minecraft. Now, what sort of place is this? It's a little bit spooky. And speaking of spooky, now I will have you, the most attentive viewers of this channel, know that Cow and I are not ones to hammer Mojang with accusations of doing things wrongly. No, and nay. But on this one point, if I may propose, just look around you. All these sympathetic eyes stroll around the grounds until you feel at home, and therein you will find phone addicts. And camera addiction by proxy. Everywhere I tell you, you find a phone, there's a camera. Now, it would be quite wonderful if in Minecraft your camera would let you take a photo and then you can make a custom painting out of it. Now, what do we have hiding all the way up here? And what I can only assume is a secret, it's a trap, lava! Cow, if you can hear me, there's lava coming, hide yourself. Now I hope this whole place doesn't go up in flames. Now, well, hey, now it appears that a ladder doesn't burn up in lava. How is that possible? The most faithful viewers of this channel will know, and that means both of you. We here on the MindGriller Server tend to hold the communal view that Minecraft is a morally ambiguous game. Qatari flying palace, anyone? But I digress. Now, what is going on in this place? Hey, now, look here. Do you see what I see? That looks like a zombie spawner. Well, now, did you, plural, hope springs eternal, know that in the early versions of this very game, mossy cobblestone was a naturally generated block found only in structures like dungeons, and therefore it was considered a rare, non-renewable resource. Players, such as myself, could not craft mossy cobblestone until much later. In fact, the ability to craft mossy cobblestone using cobblestone and vines was added in Minecraft Java Edition 1.8, released in 2014. Before this, the only way to obtain mossy cobblestone was to dig it up from someplace you found it. Now it appears to me that such a traditional mob grinder as this is highly inefficient. Now, before Cow, and by proxy, I forget, since we are here in the midst of our glamorous 50th episode. Nonetheless, on this auspicious occasion, Cow and I will share with you, the most loyal viewers of this channel, and that means both of you, a fact which has not been widely spoken of, and therefore, in as far as and nevermore, not wildly known. Are you excited? I'm excited. No. It is neither gargantuan nor monumentous. The secret fact of which we speak is we don't AFK, and in fact, never have. No. Nay. We are not ones to engage in such behavior. Yeesh. Cow and I are here, in fact, to play this very game, and motivations of knuckle-bruising greed, bland, pasty white affluence, and poor life choices notwithstanding, AFKing is, if we may be so bold as to postulate, boring, and leads to hoarding, materialism, avarice, rapacity, and an Ozempic-proof hunger for excessive desires. And, if I may add, not at all interesting to watch. Speaking of which, and by that I mean interesting and watching, have you, plural, noted the trend taken up by hermits, but not uniquely solely and without par, wherein they put out videos containing content that is merely a cackle of geese, an ostentation of peacocks, an ooze of hermits standing about in one location, which now populates/predominates Cow's YouTube homepage. Well, now, thank you for your content. I hope it was not too much effort. Which reminds me of a classic but not classical song. It was recorded by the Eurodisco/pop duo/pop sensation Ask Your Grandpappy Pet Shop Boys. Said track is called I Want a Dog. The lyrics have something to do with want and a dog, a chihuahua, and the desire to hear somebody bark. But by contrast, it is also about not wanting a cat, nor the scratching of claws all over one's habitat, the giving of no love, the getting of, well, transformation into the embracement of metaphorical sloth and fat. Now I will have you know that once upon a time, a long time ago, I was driven to a lake, and I, being who I am, got quite sunburned. So late into the evening, in an attempt to soothe my flaming hot sunburned back in the cool water, I heard my family drive away. A shoeless 2 hours walk later, a station wagon of perturbed, scalding eyes drove up, and it stooped so low as to let me in, which represented to them quite a kind gesture, since they were all readily in agreement that I was the problem. Good times. This leads me to a very important point. Children, just like viewers, and cows, I would propose to you, never forget. Cow, you will concur that I am as Cow. Cow, have you wandered off again? Now, Cow, this is not good for your bone-chilling separation anxiety. I don't think I can say my goodbyes without you by my side. Yeah, don't seem so, and it doesn't sound the